Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Thank you so much for tuning into this video in which I show you how to find the area and circumference of a circle. Let's get started. You all know what a circle is. It's a shape, looks like this, the big round thing. So in the dead center of a circle, we can put a point that's usually called O for origin. So if I draw a line from the edge of the circle to the origin, it'll be the same distance no matter where I started. That distance is called R for radius. So if I start at a different point on the edge of the circle, like over here, draw a line to the center, that distance will be the same. The yellow line and the red line will have the same length. Same if I drew one here. They will all have the same length, and that distance is called the radius. Now, if we draw a line from one side of the circle to the other through the center like this, that's called D for diameter. So similar to the radius, it doesn't matter where you start on the edge of the circle, as long as you go through the center to the other side, the lengths of the lines will be the same. So for example, if I drew a line like this through the center of the circle from one side to the other, that will also have the same length as the blue line. So the radius is only like from the center of the circle to one side of the circle. The diameter is from one side of the circle to the other. So the diameter is twice the radius. So if the radius of the circle was 5 centimeters, the diameter would be 10 centimeters. The radius was 200 meters, then the diameter would be 400 meters. So the diameter is always double the radius in any circle. So this length around the outside of this shape is not called the perimeter. It wouldn't make sense to call it the perimeter because technically a circle doesn't have any sides. So we have a special name for this. So this length all around the outside of the circle is called C for circumference. And that's one of the things that we're going to find today. The length around the outside of a circle. Okay. So there's something else we need in our arsenal to be able to find both the area and circumference of a circle, and it's a special number. See, long ago, people realized that there's a relationship between the circumference, the length around the outside of a circle, and its diameter. So the ratio of the circumference to the diameter is equal to this special number pi. So pi is just a number. It's 3.14159. It goes on and on and on. It is irrational. Lucky we learned irrational numbers earlier in the year. So that means that the decimal, the numbers after the decimal, never stop. You also can't write pi as a fraction with integers. You can't write it as, 10 over 3 or whatever it is that you wanted to do. Luckily for you though, your calculator has the number pi stored already. For the black Casio calculators, you need to press Shift and then you press, I think it's the button down the bottom that's like 10 to the power of X. It is different on different calculators. That is for the black Casio calculators. So this number pi, 3.14159, you don't need to remember it because it's in your calculator. But we need it to find both the circumference and the area of a circle. So, because the circumference divided by the diameter is 3.14159, we can easily figure out from that the circumference. So the circumference is just the diameter times pi. Pi being 3.14159, blah, blah, blah. Right? Of course, the diameter is twice the radius, so we could also write the circumference as double the radius and times by pi. So you're going to use this formula here to find the circumference of a circle when you're told the diameter, and you're going to use this one when you're told the radius. So they are two formula that basically say the same thing, how to find the length around the outside of a circle. So you will need your calculator for this. You won't be able to do pi in your head. So the formula for the area of a circle is close to this. It's pi times radius squared. So we're just going to use formula now more so than intuition to find both the area and circumference of a circle. So I'm going to show you some examples now. Please pause and copy this down if you need. So we're now going to have a go at finding both the area and circumference of each of these circles. So you notice in the first circle, we're told the radius, which is 4 meters, and in the second circle, we're told the diameter, which is 20 centimeters. So let's look at the first circle. So the circumference is just, because I'm given the radius, I'm going to use this formula. 2 times pi times the radius. And all you have to do is put that on your calculator. And so the answer, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places, is about 25.13 meters. So make sure you read the question carefully to determine whether it's asking for 1 decimal place, 2 decimal places, whatever. So the area of this circle is just going to be pi times radius squared. Again, you can put that straight on your calculator, and the answer you get should be about 50.27. Again, I'm rounding it to 2 decimal places. Of course, this time the units aren't meters, they are meters squared. So the area of a circle with radius 4 meters will be about 50.27 meters squared. So let's do the other circle. So the circumference, because I have the diameter, I'm going to now use this formula. So the circumference is just going to be the diameter times pi. Of course, this time the units will be in centimeters. So now I'm going to round it to the nearest whole number. So the answer I get is 62.8318. So that's 63 to the nearest whole number, and we're in centimeters. So the area is going to be pi times, now it's not the diameter squared, it's the radius squared. So, if the diameter is 20 centimeters, the radius will be 10 centimeters. So the area will be pi times 10 squared. So I'm again going to round it to the nearest whole number. The number you get in your calculator should be 100 times pi, which is 314.15, blah, blah, blah. So to the nearest whole number, that is 314. Of course, now we're in centimeters squared, okay? Now let's look at a slightly different shape. So how would I find the perimeter and area of this shape on your screen now? Well, this is actually called a sector. It's like a fraction of a circle. So when you have to find the circumference or area of a sector, what you do is you find the circumference and area of the whole shape, as if it was a whole shape, and then you just divide appropriately. So what we're going to do is going to find the area and circumference of the whole circle and divide by 2. Because it's only half a circle. So for this shape, we have circumference equals, so 50 is the diameter, so the circumference will be pi times d, pi times 50, and I need to divide that by 2. So if I put that on my calculator, I get 78.5398 and so on. So I'm going to round that to 1 decimal place this time. So that's going to be about 78.5. So that's just this part. I found the length of this. If I want to find the perimeter of the whole shape, I need to add this side in, the 50. So the whole perimeter of that shape, now we're using perimeter again because there is an actual side, is going to be 78.5 plus 50, so I get 128.5 millimeters. If I want to find the area, it's a similar trick. Remember though, the diameter was 50, so the radius will be half of that, 25. So it'll be pi times 25 squared, and this time I will divide by 2, because it's half a circle. So just use your calculator again. The area you get should be about 981.7477. So to one decimal place, that is about 981.7. And of course, this time it's millimeters squared. Okay, so that's how you do it for sectors. You might sometimes see a quarter of a circle. Well, in that case, we'd find the area of the whole circle, but divide it by 4. So we're just going to look at one sort of problem-solving type question. So we're going to look at this question here. The area of a circle is 90 centimeters squared. What would be the circumference of that circle? So first you have to ask, what do I need to know in order to find the circumference of a circle? Well, I need to know either the radius or the diameter. So I know the area, so from that I can figure out the radius, because I know that pi times radius squared equals area. So this is an equation. To solve it, I have to undo everything that's been done to r. Now note, pi is just a number, 3.14159 and so on. So I have pi times r squared, a number times r squared. To undo timesing by pi, you divide by pi. So you just put that in your calculator. So 90 divided by pi on your calculator, you get 28.6478 and all that. I want to write quite a number of decimal places because I want my answer, my final answer, to be accurate. So r squared is approximately 28.6479. So how do I get r by itself? Well, you undo squaring by square rooting. So r will be the square root of the answer that I just got. So if I take the square root of 28.6479 and put that on my calculator, I get about 5.35. And I'll put an extra decimal place in, 5.352. Okay, so that's the radius. So what would the circumference be? Because that's what the question is asking. Well, the circumference would just be 2 times pi times the radius. Remember, when you have the radius, you have to double it because the diameter is double the radius. So I just put that on my calculator, and I'm going to give my answer to the nearest whole number, so that the circumference would be 33.6299, which is about 34, because I've got to round up, centimeters. Okay? So, hopefully you've enjoyed this video and learned something. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.